All right. Hello. How are we feeling today? I'm excited to be here for this special market taker mentoring presentation where we are talking about what you want us to talk about. You filled out these surveys, we got the responses, and we have been going through them all week long. So I'm thrilled that you're able to join us today, and I just love seeing everything that's come through this week. My name is Bobby Valentine, and I work behind the scenes here at Market Taker Mentoring. And tonight we are super lucky to have with us John Kmiecik and Dan Passarelli. So they're going to go through some of the themes with us today, and they're going to help us identify, what the challenges are that people are facing, how to overcome those challenges, next steps to better trading. So some of you may be new to Market Taker Mentoring, so let's do a quick introduction. John Kmiecik is the MTM head coach. He has 3 decades of trading experience and is one of the most renowned trading coaches in the world. He and Dan were actually paid by the Chicago Board Options Exchange to travel around the world to far-flung places to teach people how to trade options. And of course, Dan Passarelli is joining us today, and Dan is the founder and CEO of Market Taker Mentoring. He also has 3 decades of experience and has been featured in all of the relevant industry publications. He's written 2 of the most popular books on options trading, and we are just excited to have him and John with us. Looks like John might be having a bit of technical difficulties, but welcome, gentlemen. Dan, can you kick us off today with the disclaimer?
Of course I can.
Righty.
Options are not for everyone. You should read characteristics and risks of standardized options before trading. Get a copy of that by emailing investorservices@theocc.com. Don't trade with money you're not prepared to lose. And everything we're talking about today is generalized information, not specific to your situation.
All right, great. Thanks, Dan. We'll give John another minute to jump on board here. But as we mentioned, today's session is all about you, the traders within the market taker community. We're going to see what you had to say in the survey. And if you hadn't had a chance to take it yet, it's still up. You can go there to markettaker.com/survey. After this presentation, you can fill it out and get some more detailed answers about your trading and where you're going. You can also scan that QR code on the screen, and that'll take you right to the survey. But before we dive in, let's see who all we're dealing with today. Who's on this call with us? In one word, how would you describe your current trading results? Go to that questions box and tell us how you would describe your current trading results with just one word. All right, let's see what we have here. Eric says inconsistent. Brian, steady. Okay. Sarah, inconsistent. Mike, growing. All right. Amanda, flat. Nick, steady. Okay, great. All right, so you've had some time to think about where your trading is after you took the survey. And so, Dan, we've been reviewing these assessments all week. It's been kind of a fun thing we talk about in our early morning meetings with each other. And so one thing that kind of stuck out to me was that 68% of people say they're making a profit, but 83% admit to having plan problems. Is that surprising to you?
No, I mean, it's not. I mean, everyone's journey is different. Everyone starts out from a different starting point, and to that effect, is also on their way to a different ending point. Some people took economics classes in high school or college. I don't think they do that in high school anymore. They should. But some people come at this with never having any exposure to any trading or anything. Some might even work in the industry. Some want to become professional traders, which we've trained many of them to do that. Some just want to beat the S&P 500 and do a little better. Some want to be very active. So that's kind of one of the things that excites me with everything that we do with Market Taker is we're able to work with traders of all different experience levels and help take you from where you are now to where you need to be in order to reach your goals as a trader.
Okay. Yeah, and we were going through these assessments and the survey results, and three themes kind of came out, at least in my mind. We had some people that were falling into the pattern of execution struggles. They might have a plan, but their problem is sticking with the plan. We had some people that commented about scaling problems. Are they ready to scale? How do they scale? How do you move from that one lot trader to that 5 lot trader, and on and on and on? And then we had people that were talking about strategy patterns. Are they using the same strategy too frequently? Are they bouncing from strategy to strategy to strategy? And so what you said earlier is that like each of these need a different approach. And one way to get that approach is to first identify where people fall along this spectrum. Are they more in the execution issues? Are they more in the scaling issues? Are they more on the strategy issues? Do you have any insights on how somebody can identify where they might be?
Who, me or John?
Dan, go ahead with this one.
Yeah. One of the first things that I think I can speak partially for John with, but I mean, I think one of the first things that John and I do when we're working with somebody who's really, really serious about wanting to hit those goals, they're sick of being stagnant or failing or doing good but not as well as they can be. We get to know them. We have like an onboarding assessment with them, see what they know, what they are interested in, what their goals are, and those last two things help us understand what they need to know, because every trader doesn't need to know everything there is about trading. For some people, that is the goal. They just have such a thirst, such a passion for it that they want to soak in everything, and that's great. I mean, that was me. But some people, if like covered calls and cash secured puts is your thing, you just want to be able to invest better and beat the S&P 500. You don't have to know about very exotic volatility strategies or anything like that. If you want to get down a good credit spread trading plan so that you can improve your win rate and minimize your losers, you don't have to know all the ins and outs of long straddles and strangles. So I think to me, the most important thing is focus. Just these are the things that I want to focus on. These are the things that I need to focus on, and let's concentrate all of our efforts into that.
And John, let me turn to you for a second. When you see these common patterns, what's usually the difference between traders that have that breakthrough moment versus those that stay stuck?
Right. Well, as you could probably guess, it's small. It's really small. It's just making a few little, I hate to use the word adjustments, but a few little tweaks to the system can really make a difference. But here's the part that is difficult, that you don't know what that tweaking is. I mean, certainly as a big proponent of managing trades and all that, I mean, a lot of it falls in that department. But to me, that's something that isn't talked about enough. You look online, you look everywhere, all the information. Are they telling you how to manage trades? No, they're telling you this is the best system in the world to find trades, so on and so forth. And that's great, right? But I think too many option traders in particular focus on, finding trades, and that's really not the issue. It's important, as I said before, but it's really how you manage them, and it's certainly not talked about enough. I mean, to me, going through as a young retail trader, I was, so excited to find trades. I paid little attention to managing trades. As the years went by, between myself and then teaching, it's hands down the most important part. But these people aren't that far off, and that's what I found. I'm like, oh my God, no one's like being reckless and risking everything on every trade, but they just don't understand about risk removal that I say. So I try to make that front and center that you're a risk manager first, but it's doing little things. But hands down, those little things aren't talked about enough. Anything else you want to find about trading, it's out there. But take a look for management. You really don't find it. And that's where you need someone, in my opinion, to hold your hand. I did. I had several people hold my hand to get me through over the hump. But it isn't like this can't be done. It's the groundwork is already there for most option traders. It's just kind of laying, above the cement work, and then, laying the floor down after that. So.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of the responses we got, people are just so close. That's just a tweak here and a tweak there is going to be all it takes to push them over that edge and into the vision that they have for their trading. So Dan, someone in the assessment said that they have a profitable strategy, but they can't execute it consistently. How common is that problem?
Oh gosh. I mean, that's one of the most common things there is. I mean, I would say, first of all, knowing that the way this whole game works is having a strategy, and then develop a strategy, that's profitable by by working with the strategy that you developed and improving it, and then actually executing it. Like, those are sort of the 4 stages. So if really, I mean, honestly, if you're in any one of those stages, or even before one of those stages, like you just are feeling around in the dark, you're not broken. We've helped literally hundreds of traders like this. I would say I would say the way Bobby phrased that question, having a profitable strategy but can't execute it consistently, that's, I don't know, that's 30% of our traders, and the rest of the percentages are broken down in those other stages. Just understanding that path is 80% of the battle right there. You're just missing the framework, and you need to work within that framework.
And I know we've talked about students in the past where all they needed was that one little bit of the structure, and that was the missing piece, and then it all clicked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was somebody that we worked with a while back. In fact, I think this is one of I'm thinking of somebody that both John and I worked with, but it was one of John's one-on-one coaching students, who was super smart, had like a really high-powered career at the top of her profession, was really great, understood options really, really deeply, but just couldn't make it work. Just couldn't didn't have actually, this person just didn't have a plan, and so therefore couldn't even follow the plan because there was no plan. But then once John worked with her to develop, like, list out a series of steps. Look, this is how you make the trade. This is what you look for. These are the cross references on the chart. Use this indicator. If this indicator does that, do this. And she became massively successful. So I am a believer that anybody can do this. It's just a matter of, I mean, I don't want to make it sound like I'm oversimplifying, but it's kind of a matter of deciding that you want to do it, deciding that you want to be a trader, you want to hit these goals, and we've seen it hundreds of times that traders do hit those goals. So you can. It's just a matter of making up your mind, like the best student traders that we've had have done.
And John, what's the biggest misconception that traders have about why they're not hitting those goals or why they're not becoming profitable?
Yeah, I think, following up on Dan, it is, how much are you dedicated to doing this for sure, because everyone wants to make money. Why would you trade? Why would you invest? To make money, right? But are you really ready to go that extra distance here, right? And so I think for sure that's one of the misconceptions. And then the other aspect is that, most people that have money to trade have been successful in some form. And then they run into trading, and this is maybe one of the first few things they've ever failed at miserably. I've barely met an option trader. I'm sure Dan can tell you the same thing that's ever been successful right off the bat, or any type of trader, in fact, right? As an investor, a little bit different, right? You buy it, hopefully it goes up over years and you're doing well. But I think, that's where the easy part ends, because that's where it gets difficult, because you're going to have to be wrong several times. And honestly, one of the biggest things that got me going was just someone saying, you could do this. Again, that's, get up, rub the, rub the dust off your knees and get going. That trading psychologist was a huge factor for me. That's why I incorporate so much trading psychology in my learning, because it made a big, big difference for me. So, and the other aspect is, I kind of touched on earlier too, is always chasing brand new things, finding opportunities elsewhere. I need a better system. I need to do this. And I can't tell you, when I first have like my first kind of assessment session with one-on-one coaching, how many times I heard stories in the pack. Well, then I was trading this. Then I moved to Forex. Then I moved to this type of option trades. Then I started doing cash secured puts. Then I forgot about cash secured puts. So I think it's not like just sticking with one thing, but always chasing things. So I hate to make it sound like complicated, but there are vast reasons why, but they're not that major. They just need to be reined in though too. So
Yeah. And I noticed a lot of the responses were talking about how people feel isolated sometimes when they're trading, that they feel like they have to do it alone, that they have to learn all this stuff on their own. And I've been in several brokerage platforms, and I've never seen a banner or an award or a medallion that's given to you if you win a trade and you did it all on your own. Have you guys ever seen anything like that? Are there prizes for learning how to trade on your own?
No, yeah, well, you know what? No, there's not for learning how to trade on your own. The only prize you get is you get a fatter account if you make money. Uh, and doing it on your own is honestly, it's the hardest way. And man, I honestly kind of I feel frustrated sometimes for people, because they put in so much effort sometimes to learn this information, kind of like the last person that I was talking about. I once was at a conference. Oh my gosh, I forgot about this story. This was actually, it was kind of a long time ago. And I talked to this person, and this person was like, well, I'd like to apply to be one of your coaches. And I was like, well, how long have you been trading? And they said,
that was
well,
me. That was me you're talking.
oh, I forgot you were here, John.
You have a good job, John.
And they said, well, I haven't made a trade yet, but I have done every class there is, and I've read every book there is. You can quiz me. Like, I know everything there is about options. But he never made a trade.
Wow.
Now, I know that's not most people. I mean, most people here have made trades, but maybe haven't been able to put that information to work. Like John touched on it. Like, you don't need more strategies. You don't need more stuff on your charting software, more shiny objects or anything like that. When I started in this business, I started as a professional trader. And the first thing that I did the day that I started, I went and stood down in the trading pit next to my mentor and watched him for an entire month and asked him 50 questions a day. That's how I got my start. I had a mentor, and if I didn't, I don't know, I would have just been fumbling around in the dark. I would not be here right now, because I would not have made it as a professional trader.
And now let me ask our audience another question. On the last trade that you put in place, what was your confidence level on that trade? You know, were you extremely certain about that trade? Did you have strong confidence, high confidence, low confidence, no confidence? What was your confidence level on that last trade that you placed? Just one word answers. That's all we're looking for. First thing to come to mind.
I'm curious to see this
Yeah.
too. I'm curious to see this. Yeah, like even a scale of 1 to 10
John
or
had
something.
strong confidence on the last trade. I don't know. That wasn't you. I don't think you're in that chat, John. I think it must be another John. But I hope you had high confidence in your last. Chris, low. Brian, uncertain. Let's see. Mike, high. Amanda, strong. Oh, this is an interesting one. Nick, shaky. Shaky confidence. It reminds me there was an email program a long time ago that when you went to send a mass email, there was a gorilla with a finger, and that finger was just shaking, saying, "Are you ready to send?" So shaky. That's interesting. All right. All right. And there were a lot of responses about confidence issues in the survey. So Dan, is there a way to separate real confidence from overconfidence?
Yeah. And Michael, the question was, what was your confidence level on your last trade? Scale of 1 to 10 or high or low or however you want to put it. So yeah, man, I will tell you what, the best traders that I know are actually humble and actually have humility. Like it's this kind of dumb stereotype that I think is from TV that traders are like cocky or arrogant. Like it's not really true. Not any of the traders that I know, and like 80% of the people I know in my life are traders who've done nothing in their entire life but trade. They fed their family and bought their house based on trading. They have a confidence in themselves, in their system that they learn, that they know, that they've put to use, that they've seen works, but a confidence on being right doesn't even come into play. Like a trader that actually reaches those goals and makes money consistently over time doesn't even think about, oh yeah, I'm confident that I'm right, or I'm confident that this stock is going to do this. What they're confident about is they're confident in themselves, in that plan that they developed with their risk manager to follow this and do this. That's where that to me, that's real confidence.
Okay. Yeah, and I think there's also some people that might become overly confident in one strategy, and they fall in love with that one strategy, and that's the only strategy that they use when there's dozens of different opportunities for them to trade successfully.
Yeah, I bring that up a lot in my coaching too. It's like if you're going to be a one-trick pony, you got to know when to stand down as well, then too, because that's the important part. And I was having this talk with a student just the other day. Oh, I think the stock's going to go higher. Why are you always telling me you want to do a bull put spread when there's better alternatives than that? So just showing him a better route where he's putting the probabilities on his side, but get a better risk reward on the trade. But he just didn't even think in that fashion. I'm a professional option trader, retail trader. I need to sell premium, and like fantastic. I would show him several times where we would have made so much more money if we did this versus you're selling your premium. So it's crazy.
So John, what's the difference between a trader who's genuinely ready to scale versus one who just thinks they are? Take this person, for example. I think I'm ready to scale from single lot trades to multiple lot trades. How do I know if I'm ready?
I mean, I really just pose the question to them. And that's where, to me, it's hard to figure out that for yourself. And it's not like I am the rule here and I give you a passing grade. I remember taking swim lessons when I was a little kid. I was the oldest kid because I hated the water. And I felt embarrassed. I was at the Carl Sandburg High School and stuff. And they'd tell you a passer grade or a fail grade. So I'm not, and I'd be embarrassed. I'm like, if I don't get a passer grade and these kids 5 years younger than me are getting passer grades, I'm going to be embarrassed. So by no means is that, but it really is kind of hard to decipher that for yourself because so many times we feel like we're confident and we're not. but I turn the table on them and show me your trading plan, show me your consistency, show me your process, because I want you to start out small, but to scale up, that's a big thing. And I don't want to be here forever for you, right? I mean, I will, but to me, my goal is to get you over that hump. And to me, there's so many things that got to hit the check mark before you can do that. And I think too many traders by far try to go too big, too fast. Say, oh, this is working. And yeah, I mean, I just had a student. I don't want to, he'll probably know who I am if he's listening here, but I do a trade every day in my group coaching class, and all of them were good, and he kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We just had a session. I don't want to say what day it was, and this was the biggest contract size ever. And guess what? Oh my God, I was a loser today. So the market knows how to teach you a lesson every single time you think you're ready. It's imperative that it's going to do that. It's almost like clockwork. So there's so many little things that need to be in place, but most traders just don't realize that. I hate to say it though. I didn't realize it myself. So it's not like I'm above that, but I would do that and I would just feel bad about myself. But it took me someone to show me the way, honestly, to correct it. It really did, because what's the definition of insanity? And I sat there and did it for months and months, years on end, if I'm being honest with you, until someone kind of pointed me in the right direction. So.
Yeah, and on the topic of being ready, someone wrote that their paper trading is great, but real money is different. What's usually happening there? I know we've worked with a lot of people that have been through entire the one-on-one coaching sessions that you guys offer, only doing paper trading, and then they expand out. But what's going on with that psychology of paper trading versus real trading?
Yeah, so there's another series of steps. There's learning, there's paper trading, and there's real trading. And I don't know. I mean, we have worked with hundreds of traders, and as far as when you get to that paper trading thing, you're closer than you think, but it's a little bit of a different thing. And John mentioned the word earlier, psychology. The big difference is the psychology gap. Most traders, like specifically when they are in one-on-one coaching, a lot of them already come to us where they have all the knowledge already. Like, we're not teaching them much knowledge or anything. It's psychology and implementation and getting the plan tight. But then, some people start out needing the knowledge part of it too, which is part of the one-on-one coaching. But when they go through the paper trading and they get to that point where, okay, you're implementing this plan with your paper trading and you're doing it great, there's that psychology gap between paper trading and real money trading. This is so common.
Big gap.
Yeah. I mean, we have John, because John's the greatest expert in trader psychology that I know. He's just got a process for bridging that gap of going from paper trading to real money. And then, like we talked before in the scaling so that you're not just, oh, well, last time I did 5, now I'll do 10, now I'll do 20, now I'll do 40, now I'll do 80. You want to get to each level and you want to have a system for crossing that bridge each time.
And let's go to our audience again and ask a question. How do you feel about getting personalized feedback on your trading? So if John or Dan were to enter your head and look at your trading, how would you feel about getting that personalized feedback? Would you be nervous? Would you be excited, hopeful, curious, eager, ready? Are you ready for that kind of feedback? So let's go to the questions box and pop in how you would feel if you had Dan or John or somebody else look at your trading and give you personalized feedback on it.
That is an interesting question. That's for sure. Yeah. I mean, just from my experience, it's been kind of a wide spectrum of in the past and stuff. I've had people sheepish, and I've had people like, here it is, good,
Yeah.
bad, or ugly.
I'm going to call this John. Other John is nervous. Greg, curious. Hannah, excited. Eric, there's another nervous. Tom, eager. Sarah, ready. Bruce is curious. Kevin is nervous.
And I don't know if you saw Chris, Philip is going to talk to Chris about his question. So, we won't address it here in this venue, but he was actually asking about that before you even asked that question.
Right.
That's pretty funny.
I saw that. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so those are some great things. So, John, if you were working with somebody one-on-one, what's the first thing that you would focus on with them?
NVIDIA, and that's on this first session. Session 2 will start on no. So, honestly, it's breaking down. Dan mentioned earlier, and it's nothing dramatic different from what he said, but it's really focused on where they are at right now, right? And then trying to find out where they want to be, and then kind of filling out where the gaps are and where they're at. I mean, a big gap that's always there is a trading plan. I've never had someone come to me with a well-written trading plan or even a half-written trading plan. So certainly it's kind of assessing all that together, and then mentally I kind of make a picture in my mind how I'm going to lay out the groundwork for our sessions over time. But it's interactive, and that's the nice part about it, though. So it really is just about teaching them. And I always say, do as much research as you want, but the real work starts when our sessions. I promise you, after a session or two, you absolutely, and this isn't just making us sound good. It is God's honest truth that after a session or two, I promise you're going to learn more than you've learned in every book you've read in the past, including Trading Option Greeks. But really that's where it is, because it's identifying. And one of the big things I say, it's not only what I'm teaching you what you don't know. And like Dan said, some people want to know more than other people, but it's also telling you what's not maybe as important for yourself personally, because it might be different for someone else. So that's why it's so custom made, and that's what I love about it. It's not like session 4 blah blah blah, session 5. It's so interactive, but it's really getting to know that person. And again, as I said, as option traders, we're so close in so many facets. As human beings, we have so many different personalities, but that really comes together in our assessment together and our time together. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I just want to jump in here. Like, somebody was asking about hand holding in one-on-one coaching, and I just want to be super clear. It's not about hand holding. Like, coaching isn't a crutch. It's not hand holding. It's not spoon feeding. It's making you more independent, not more dependent on us, more dependent on yourself. I mean, look, man, I've been doing this 30 years. I wrote a couple books and get a fair amount of respect in the industry, get to be on TV. I don't want to, go down that route and beat my chest or anything. But I'm going to tell you something. I am still learning every day. I try to learn every day. Maybe it's not every day, but I try to learn more and more and more about trading. And if there was someone out there who could coach me, that would be the first person that I would sign on with. But, I mean, at the level of, having been a professional trader and all that, like there's just not a pool of people to coach. So what I do is I talk very, very regularly with the smartest traders that I know, and we bounce ideas off each other so that we all grow. So nobody's holding my hand, and I'm not holding anybody's hand. I'm not going to hold anybody's hand here. But if you want to get to that next level, like, this is an accelerator. We don't say, oh, here's more strategies. Oh, we fix what's already there. We overcome hurdles, and we improve your trading. So, that I just want to make sure that everybody's on board. If you're thinking about signing up for one-on-one coaching for, hand holding and spoon feeding, like, no, it's about empowering, and it's about you having the desire to strive for success.
And so, Dan, for somebody that has that desire for success, for someone that's been listening to us tonight, that's filled out the survey, that is all in, serious about their trading, making that progress that they want to make, reaching those goals that they've set for themselves, what would you recommend as their next step?
I mean, gosh, if somebody actually really did put in that amount of soul searching and knows where they need to get to next, what their goals are, and that, oh gosh, I love that person. It's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do on your own. I mean, geez, that's why there's psychologists and therapists out there. Like, you sometimes you have a lot of the answers, but you need that person to draw those answers out of you. You need that person to take what's inside you and turn it around to make it powerful for you. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And so
sorry, I was just gonna say, getting back to what you were talking about, Dan, about, coaching and non-handling. That's why we have sessions almost every week, just to go over things, and we learn from each other every single, what's working right now. What is, we talk about current market conditions as well, but also strategies down the road, and how are you managing them? You were asking me about how the 0 DTE iron condors I manage. It's ongoing. Like you said, you stop wanting to learn, no matter what level you're at, then just quit, right? So
yeah, I should have mentioned that. John and I meet once a week, every Monday, 1:00 Central Time. We are talking about trading and bouncing ideas off each other, and both of us.
And that's true, because they booted me off a call the other day so they could be on that call. Yeah. We were talking about survey responses, and all of a sudden they came up and said, "Oh, it's 1:00. We got to do our trading call." So you guys practice what you preach, which is great. So Dan, tell us a little bit about the strategy calls with the Trader Success team, and what the structure of those calls might look like.
Yeah, so some of you may already know Philip, who is with us. Philip heads up our Trader Success team, and in a normal situation, we usually will bill these out, and they're expensive, because having a strategy to get from where you are now, whether that's lost and hopeless to doing all right, to doing pretty good, to doing really great, but I want to be excellent, to get to that next level is extremely valuable. I mean, like when Michael Jordan hires a coach, he's not giving him $50 for the magic answer. He's giving him like $100,000, because little hinges swing big doors. You get this one mental thing that flips the switch for you, and that takes you from where you are now to beyond where you feel you need to be. So that's what Philip's magic is. That's what he does on strategy calls. It's a personalized approach. He does an assessment to see where you are, identifies any gaps, any hurdles that you have, and by the end of the call, he might give you a specific recommendation, like, hey, here's a book that has this information that'll get you there. Or, hey, you know what? Have you ever considered one-on-one coaching? So I want to, well, I'll tell you what. Like I said, these are usually $500 an hour calls, but we're doing something a little bit different here. And we've got Philip full-time on the team here. So I'll tell you what, if you want to explore more of this and you'd be excited to get on a strategy call with Philip, go hit the questions box right now and type the word ready. Hit the questions box. If you want to have a complimentary strategy call with Philip, and it's no pressure either way, right? No pressure. If, you know, if it's something as simple as, hey, here's a good book that you should read. This covers everything you were just asking about, that's fine. Or if he says, hey, you know what, one-on-one coaching might be a good fit. Have you considered it? Like, that's how he's putting it. It's not like some high pressure thing or anything. It's about you. It's about getting you to that next level. So if you want to have a strategy call with Philip, hit that questions box right now and type the word ready right now, please. We got Chris. Yeah, Chris is ready, and I like that. Michael asked, are you giving us an opportunity for one-on-one coaching? Potentially. I mean, one-on-one coaching is, for the right person, is a massive life-changing experience. But it's not for everybody. It's for the people who, I don't know. I mean, it's for traders who want to get to that next level, are willing to put in the effort for, not for me, but for yourself. So yeah, type the word ready, Michael. And Chris, we got Tom, we got Alice,
Sarah, Amanda, Nick, Kevin, other John.
That's me again. Sorry.
Yeah, you again.
I'm never too proud to learn more. So yeah.
There you go. I agree. All right, so John, who would be a good fit for these calls?
I mean, it seems like Captain Obvious, but again, we touched on this earlier, right? It's the dedication, Honestly, I'm going back 25 plus years for myself, and as a Goldman Sachs guy, I got into retail trading. I knew it was out of my element, but when I had a chance to get a mentor and classes, it was a combination thing. I jumped on it. I threw it on a credit card. I was ready to go, but again, not saying that's for everyone, but to me, I know the level that I wanted to be at, and I know I needed help. That's the two things. And then this was an opportunity. Market Taker wasn't around back then, so I couldn't go to Market Taker, but I knew that this was an opportunity that I had to take. So it's you have to really want it. Again, I've talked about this, how many articles I've written about, I really dedicated to this. And it doesn't mean you're not if you don't do one-on-one coaching, but to me, as we've talked so many times, I don't know, and this is the truth, that someone that's successful that hasn't had at least one mentor in his lifetime, including me. I had multiple. And to me, I hate to take some credit for this, but I'm going to. I think the most successful traders I've ever had have really kind of bought into what we went through in one-on-one coaching. They wrote the trading plan, they follow it. I keep in touch with them years down the road. They're not taking sessions with me anymore, but they're still doing well, and they check in with me, and I'm so proud. It puts a smile on my face when I see that they're still doing the things we talked about 5, 6, 7 years ago. So it's really, again, there's more than one way to commit, but really I knew for myself I was ready to go. So I think it's not like, you know what, I should, and let me try a little bit more and see what goes that way. And when I talk to people, I'm always like, I'm just kind of, all right, I'm not here to twist your arm by any means, but I just know what path you're gonna end up taking, either failure or get help, if it's not with us, from somebody else, because that's your true way. So it really comes down to say, you know what, I'm ready. Just like Dan said, type it in the box. It's little things like that that show the motivation, and then you're in the right frame of mind. So it really is. So.
Yeah, and I want to bring up somebody that recently talked to Philip. I mean, this is just a couple weeks ago. Ray talked to Philip and said, I believe it will be one of the best decisions I will ever make to better myself and my family. Thank you for deciding to become a mentor and share your knowledge that you've worked so hard for. So those are some of the comments that we're getting. Here's another one from Nick. It's the type of trading I wanted, but just never quite knew how to get there on my own, and arguably may have never gotten there without your team's help. I was putting in the time before, but wasn't looking or learning in the right areas. I don't know if fun is the right word, but I've definitely enjoyed the last couple months and am extremely excited going forward. And all of these comments started with the call with Philip. So
it's funny. I just had a session with Ray today, and we went over vertical credit spreads and talked to him, about the tighter spreads, better percentage wise. He's like, I didn't even realize that ever in my trading. So it's funny. This is the actual story from today. We had a session earlier today. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so let's ask our audience again. If you could get clarity on your biggest trading obstacle in 25 minutes, how would that feel? And that's about how long the calls with Philip take, or about 25, 30 minutes. And it helps you get clarity on your biggest trading obstacle. So what would it feel like to you? One word, that's all we're looking for. Would you feel empowered, or would it be valuable to have that obstacle solved? What is one word that how you would feel about getting clarity on your biggest trading obstacle? Let's see. Hannah says empowering. Sarah, eye-opening. Kevin, relief. That's insightful. Jason, necessary. Chris, relieving. John, other John, empowering. All right, Bruce, pretty good. Okay. All right, good stuff. So Dan, how can someone listening right now actually schedule a call with Philip?
Yeah, so I know, and there were some comments earlier of people just saying that they wanted a call with Philip. There's a couple of you anyway. And so here's what we can do. I'm going to share a link right now. You can go here to markettaker.com/book, or you could just take out your cell phone and go to the camera app, aim it at that, and a little yellow box will pop up, and you can just sign up right on your phone. And it's literally just that easy. So yeah, go to markettaker.com/book, or use that QR code, which is just using the camera app, aim your phone at it, and boom, click the little thing that shows up. And you can book a link right there online. We use what do we use? Calendly or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. So it's a pretty handy little thing. Like, you can literally put your name on Phil's calendar, and he will call you at the dates and time that you choose. It's easy, translates the time zones and everything. Super easy. Couldn't be easier, actually.
John, is there ever a time when someone waits too long to book a call like this and misses out on their momentum?
No, never. No, of course. As I touched on earlier, and like I said, I was raring to go, I was ready, but honestly, I don't talk to pre like Philip does as much, but I've been on calls, and honestly, I shake my head, and like, the person tells me this, this, and this, but what don't they have is the motivation, right? They're scared about something. They're scared about something, and we're all scared about something. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, again, that window comes and goes, and again, it's so important. Just you're feeling it, and then it carries over, and that's what I find. The people that sign up are like, when can we have our first session? They're all excited to get going, and so on and so forth. What can I do before our session, and so on and so forth. So that just kind of shows me. So the people that are just kicking the tires, I could tell right away. When I get on a phone with somebody, and it just how they even sound, the tone of their voice is great. So, but I find so many people that just kind of, and that's true in life, right? How many opportunities have we missed in life? To me, I was a shy guy. I would never go up to girls, and so many times, like, why couldn't I say something to her? I mean, I'm just going home again without talking to that girl, type of thing here. And to me, I kind of look at it almost the same principle, right? Here's your opportunity, right? You've got the attractive person in front of you, right? You just need to go up and ask them for a little help, right? Point you in the right direction, guide you along, fill in those gaps that you're missing, write that trading plan, get that management down, and be the trader you want to be, because it's inside you. It's just that simple.
Yeah, you know what? I used to be, well, we didn't have a trader success team, so I basically used to be the person who would call people to help them, you know, and say, okay, well, like, what are you trying to accomplish? You know, and we'd end up talking about one-on-one coaching, you know, for the ones who are really ready. And gosh, man, every once in a while, there would be somebody who would say, well, you know, I've got to, it's gardening season, so maybe in September I'll do it. And then, you know, September comes and it's something else, you know. So, I mean, those people aren't serious. But, oh, and you know, then there's, well, you know what I'll do? I'm going to trade to make enough money to do one-on-one coaching so that I can learn to make money. Great idea. Yes. You are freaking crazy. But I mean, that's probably like 1 in 100 people do that. But, you know, I've had that crazy stuff happen.
Yeah. And Dan, like you said earlier, the call with Phil is a tremendous value. I mean, normally we do bill for those, and this opportunity now for people to actually book time on his calendar is just a great opportunity that you're giving away. What's the difference between getting advice from a forum or from YouTube versus a personalized call like people are going to have with Philip?
Yes. So I have a friend who is a landscape architect. And he has a landscaping company. And, you know, we talk about customers and just the challenges of running a small business, basically. And he writes content and does presentations, you know, in groups and such. And he was talking about like looking up information online about how to take care of whatever, daffodils or you know, whatever it is. I'm not really a flower guy or anything, but he's like, yeah, you know, like half the time the information is just wrong. Like this is not how you do that. Like the daffodil is going to die if you do that. You know, you can go on Reddit. I mean, go on Reddit. You'll find crazy answers to things. You find some good ones too, but the thing is you don't know if it's good or not. It's like the difference between reading WebMD and seeing an actual doctor. So yeah, I mean, I like to say you want somebody who has been there, done that, and is still doing it. And that's, you know, that is extremely important, whether you want to be a doctor or you want to find out what is wrong with your health thing, or you want to get to that next level of trader to give yourself that self-satisfaction. I mean, let alone making more money. I mean, I feel like it's more about that self-satisfaction of, yes, I knew I could do it, and now I've done it. And I don't know, like, you get good general advice on YouTube and that kind of thing, but we're looking at your risk tolerance, your schedule, your goals, all that, just a holistic picture. It's very personalized and personal. It's personal to me and John. Like, we'll talk sometimes like, oh yeah, Ricky needs to do this, and how can we best help him?
So John, for someone that's already booked their call, they're genuinely excited about getting on that call with Philip, what should they do to prepare for that?
So, well, like you said, get excited first and foremost, because even if you don't end up, like, if it's not a fit for you, but you've made that commitment, and let's be honest, most traders have never even made that commitment, and we know the percentages of traders making it, right? And it's so, especially the ones that have not made a commitment to that. So to me, and you're gonna have to be honest. So many of my sessions, I know he's just talking to Philip here, but you have to be honest by yourself. You're not looking to impress anyone with your knowledge and your trades. Oh, I did this and this and that. Just be honest about things. That's what we're here for. it's a fit, right? It's not just to make money. It's the best fit for you, right? You want to be successful. There is no more pleasure. Me and Dan are so completely passionate about this. It's sickening to try to straighten this out. So you just want to really be honest with yourself, and you'd expect the same from us. And that's exactly, you get honesty back. So, and hopefully you'll be able to leave with some type of action, some type of action you can implement right away that you might not even thought of. So just little things like that. But the bottom line is get excited and be honest about yourself. That's what we're looking for. So.
And so, Dan, what would you say to someone who's thinking I should probably do this, but hasn't clicked the link yet? Or for somebody who's ready to take action right now, what's the best way to secure their spot?
Yes. So booking is simple and immediate. Don't overthink it. If you're ready for clarity, book the call. Just type in a browser window and do this right now. Go to markettaker.com/book. Bobby, did you put that in chat? Oh yeah, Bobby already put it in chat. Just click that link or hit the QR code with the camera app on your phone and do it. Do it right now, because you know what? It's no pressure. It's both of us seeing if it's a good fit for each other. And if it is, you're going to know it is, and you're going to do it, and it can be life-changing. And if it's not a good fit, that's okay too. John is very, very, very busy with one-on-one coaching students already, but we have some slots, and we're going to fill those slots. So if it's not for you, you're not going to hurt our feelings, really. But we're going to feel good for you if it is a good feeling, or if it is a good fit. So go right now to markettaker.com/book. You can click that link that Bobby put in chat, or use the camera app on your phone for that QR code, and just book an appointment. Maybe it's a half-hour slot or longer, whatever. Just talk to Philip. We call it the Trader Success Team, because that is what it is. So do it now. The sooner you book, the sooner you get unstuck.
So John, any final thoughts for traders who are ready to take this next step?
Yeah, just get motivated. This is something that can not only transform your option trading, but transform your life, right? One of the first things I say with a trading plan is your goals, right? And so dream a little bit too. You know what? I am putting the effort in. Allow yourself to dream. I'm not saying I'm going to have a Bentley by next week and fly first class across to Europe, but be positive. I'm taking the steps in the right direction. Go to bed with a smile on your face, dreaming about what could be if I'm taking these steps. So it really is. Now getting into the secret here, putting maybe some charts on your ceiling to get you motivated, think about trading, but really you're taking the step in the right direction. I mean, honestly, when I did it myself, I was so excited. I couldn't wait to get up, and it just motivated me on other aspects of life too. So that's what's so great about this. It's not just the money transforming your life, but honestly, it transforms you. I think, honest to God, I am a better human being between being a disciplined trader and now being a disciplined option trader and teacher as well. But it's bigger than your option trading. And that's what you have to realize, get excited for this.
Yeah, and we've got some questions in the question box. You guys mind sticking around for a little while? We'll go through some questions.
Yeah, that sounds great. And if anybody has a question that hasn't asked it yet, throw it in the questions box. That's what we're here for.
First of all, somebody said excited for the mentorship. So great. We're excited to be here for you. Somebody asked, is there a cost to book the call? That was Chris.
No, right now we are, it's been an incredibly great market for option traders, both on the way down in April and on the way back up. Volatility is a wonderful, wonderful thing if you're an option trader, whether the market's down or up. So right now we are making this, it's free, and it's going to benefit you however the phone call ends. So there's no cost. Go to markettaker.com/book, use the QR code, click the link in chat, and book it. It's free.
John, this is a good one for you. I'm making a profit so far this year. Can this call help me?
Well, I think maybe that person said that in jest, but it can, right?
Yeah.
That's again, my first goal is to get you discipline. What follows discipline, right? Money comes behind it, right? So absolutely. And as we talked about a half hour, 45 minutes ago, it's little things that can make the difference, right? And it's you know what? Instead of letting that try to get that 50%, let's take some risk off the table at 25% and move our stops up. It's just little things like that that can make a huge difference. So yeah, so I'm sure they said it in jest, but absolutely the answer is of course, absolutely.
Dan, what do you think about that one?
Yeah, I mean, I would say at least half of the people who join one-on-one coaching are already profitable. Like, you're not showing up here being like, oh, I wonder what an option is. Can I sign up for one-on-one coaching? Like, first just get your feet wet a little bit, make a couple of trades. But I mean, some people are really struggling and they're just so tired of the struggling. They just want to feel good about themselves and have confidence and make trading work. But a lot of them, I'd probably half of them, they're making money and they see the potential and they've reached some potential. They just want to be better. They're not perfectionists. What's a positive spin on that? They're doers. They're action takers and they love it. They're good, but they want to be great. They're great, but they want to be greater. Some people come to us who are already really, really good, but they want to be a professional trader, and we train them too. So anyway, if you're already profitable, yeah, definitely, this is for you, man.
Amanda asks, will Philip think I'm stupid if I ask basic questions?
Absolutely. No, just kidding. Just kidding. No. I mean, the reason why you talk to Philip is to ask questions. And, like I remember like when I was in grade school and, you're shy and you always feel awkward. You're trying to fit into your body and all that stuff that adolescents go through. And, sometimes I'd be afraid to ask a question. But then at some point, like somebody told me, like, if you ask questions, it means that you're smart. It means that you're curious. And like it is the smart people that ask questions because you want to be better. So yeah, there's no question that we could ask where it's like, oh, geez, that's a silly question. Like it's a very relevant question because it's relevant for you getting to the next level. It means that you have a curiosity and that you have a thirst and you want to, make it happen. So yeah, do it.
Yeah, there's no stupid questions like I have in my sessions ever. So when they're not asking questions, that's what worries me. So yeah, they're just listening and shaking your head. That's why I want to be interactive with people, and so please always ask questions. Even if we're talking about something else, I always tell them, we're talking about butterflies and you're asking me an iron condor question. That's great. That's great. I always want to answer you that. But yeah, when you don't ask questions, that's when I worry personally. So.
And Jason says, my account balance isn't all that big. Can I still do this?
Oh yeah. I mean, look, do you like it not being all that big or do you want to grow it, right? And in order to grow it, you have to have that feeling of confidence and you have to have that trading plan. And you have to be able to follow that trading plan. We have a lot of people who just get funding, frankly, for it because they don't have a super big account right now, but they see the importance in it. And so, they'll just get funding to make it happen. And people do that, I mean, kind of all the time, really. There's definitely a certain percentage who get funding, which you can do through PayPal, or we've got a source for that as well. So absolutely, it doesn't matter how big your account is, it's how big your thirst for this is, your hunger.
Brian, what if I'm just starting out? Kind of along the same lines of that last question, but you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, it's again, it can go both ways, right? Someone's setting their ways for a long time, and I got to break some of the bad patterns they've had. But it's nice molding from someone from the start, getting them in the right direction. So I welcome all. So it's just a different type of mentality when you go over with them, and that's a great part about it, though. So So I love complete beginners, because just seeing them opening their eyes and learning little things like that, I didn't realize that, or I didn't know that. It just gives me great joy as well then too. So yeah, come one, come all, like Dan said, professionals down to, as a beginner, as an option trader, is perfect. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead, Bobby.
Oh, Dan, I was going to have you read Tom's question, because it looks like one that you might enjoy answering more than me.
Yeah. So Tom says, I might end up trying to paraphrase here, but he says, I will say that my biggest so far is dealing with the random shocks of the system, midnight tweet sanctions. I'm most interested in coaching, but I wonder if there's any remedy for dealing with the unexpected shocks and all the indicators point bullish and the market drop. So yes, because what you're describing, Tom, is something that every trader deals with, and many traders make money as a result of that, and many traders don't. Because here's the thing, in any market, like the market is different now than it was a year ago, for sure. But you cannot predict the market. You cannot control the market. What you can control and hopefully predict, as far as having confidence in yourself, is how you react to these things. If you have a plan and you are doing it correctly, where you're realizing, okay, all these things can happen. There's things that I haven't even thought of that I know can happen that are black swan events. Here's how I'm going to handle it if these things happen. It's not about these things happening. It's about how you handle these things happening. Trading is so psychological, and that's, like I said before, John is the greatest expert in trader psychology that I know, and he's helped me a ton. So, yeah, Tom, did you book a call with Philip already?
Yeah, what do they say that famous saying is, and applies to option trading, right? Option trading is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it, right? So that's what they say about life too. And it really is true though. So.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, Tom, if you didn't book a call with Philip yet, just book one right now. Like I said, it's no pressure. It's free. It will help. However the phone call ends, it will help you. And Philip will help set you on a path to getting to that next level. So definitely do that. Oh, good. Oh, you did already. Good.
All right. Sounds good. I think we've gone through most all the questions. Do you guys have any other items to address? Any other surprises from the survey that came out or anything like that?
Oh, no, there were some, but John and I have literally helped tens of thousands of traders. I don't want to say, oh yeah, we've seen all those answers before, because they are personal to each of you, and their problems and goals and dreams for each of you. So I definitely don't dismiss them, but I guess they're all things that we have already helped people with and know how to do it. So you're in good hands. Talk to Philip, and I think some of you are going to be our next great success stories here.
I think so. Well, thank you, John. Thank you, Dan, for being here tonight. And thank you, everybody else that showed up, that filled out the survey. That was a great step forward to show that you're committed to becoming a better trader, that you're committed to reaching the goals that you mentioned in those survey results. Some of them were spectacular. I mean, ranging from paying for grandkids' colleges, weddings, vacations with the whole family, and then even more everyday mundane things like an extra $500 a month to pay a bill, or an extra car payment or something like that. These are all goals that are real. They're real to you. They're real to us, because our goal is to help you reach your goals. And so that being said, go to that booking link that we put in there, markettaker.com/book. I know a lot of you have already booked your calls with Philip. I know his calendar is getting full. I know he's excited about that, and we are excited about that too. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the day. We'll all be talking soon.
Good night. Thank you, Bobby.
Good night.
Thanks, guys.